Hey guys, so today we have a mini tea of things happening on YouTube, TikTok and all kinds of different platforms. So if you want to see more of my content, subscribe, hit that bell, like and comment for engagement so my videos get recommended to you guys. My social media, my beauty channel and everything else will be in description. And let's get into it. Oh, did I do a threat? I didn't do a threat. Oh no. You made yourself a drink and it's too hot, right? You're waiting for it to cool down. You forget about it, you get back to it, now it's too cold and you have to heat it up again and then it's too hot again and you can never get the right temperature. And that's going to keep on happening until you like, comment, subscribe and hit that bell for engagement. Shane Dawson is kind of back on the internet. That's really strange to me. So I've been talking about this like thing that Shane Dawson is trying to do, which is basically make it seem like he's not back on the internet but still be on people's minds and be spoken about by people very gently without posting a YouTube video or coming back to the platform on YouTube. For now he's like testing the waters on Instagram and all sorts of different platforms without actually having to come back to YouTube. So I was like, oh, he's posting Instagram stories and he's on the podcast, Ryland's podcast, The Sip, and all of those different situations where people are like, when is he coming back? And before Trisha and Shane fell out, Trisha spoke about the fact that he had this big plan to come back with, and obviously that fell through because they kind of fell apart. So I don't know when he was going to do that, but obviously she's not like backing him up anymore. So it's just a lot of different situations where we were like, is he coming back? Is he not coming back? What's he going to come back with? He's still losing subscribers. And now with David Dobrik being in the heat and David Dobrik probably going through a scandal very similar to Shane Dawson where you're untouchable for many, many years and then at some point everything falls apart, you lose all the money that you were making, yada yada yada. Like that's essentially, it's a very similar cancelling. I'm wondering if Shane Dawson was waiting for someone else to slip up quite as bad as he did, so that all the attention then goes on them and Shane Dawson can swiftly make a comeback. And I think we're starting to see that happen because he posted on his YouTube community tab, not on his Shane channels, no, not the main channels, on Shane Glossin, which was supposed to be his makeup channel, and he didn't post a single makeup video on it. It was just like smaller conspiracy theories and stuff like that. He posted Ryland's video called Our Biggest Fight Caught on Camera, and he said, sorry, I haven't been online in a while, just been taking time for my mental health and I've been getting creative and editing again. It's been really fun. Check out Ryland's new video that I edited. I'm really proud of it. So this makes it sound like the editing that he's been having fun with was Ryland's video, but is he also having fun with editing his own stuff and filming and planning his own stuff to come back with? And is his first video back gonna be like, hey guys, I know I messed up, but like I'm hoping you give me another chance? Or is he just gonna go like straight into regular content and whoever watches it and if they don't, they don't, and he's just gonna put stuff out there and if people want to consume it then they will? I'm wondering what his technique is gonna be. Mike and Logan, I haven't spoken about them many times and I haven't spoken about them in a while. So Logan Paul, we all know Logan Paul, he's got the podcast Impulsive, and on that he's got a co-host called Mike. I don't mind Mike, I just always get really weird vibes about him. I feel like he seems like a little bit, how do I explain it? Like he is friends with Logan, but I feel like he's always giving me vibes of like, if someone more famous came along, he'd stop hanging out with Logan and he'd go to them. That's the vibes I've been getting, and a lot of people in the comment section under their podcast don't really like Mike. I know that's kind of harsh, but if you read the comments, it'll be like Mike always takes over the conversation, he interrupts the guests. Like he interrupts other co-hosts, but then he interrupts the guest as well. He talks a lot, he says the same stuff a lot. So people are not really big fans of Mike as a whole. I don't know, he's there, but like he gives me kind of bad vibes sometimes. And recently he went on the Mum's Basement podcast, which is Keemstar, drama alert. He has a podcast and he invited Mike on, and Mike spoke about a situation on the Impulsive podcast recently where they were talking about Harry Styles wearing a dress for one of his photo shoots, and Logan said you can wear a dress and still be masculine. Like it doesn't take away from your masculinity to wear a dress. And the whole segment that they were talking about it, they were both like, both of the co-hosts were having a go at him, basically being like, no, you can't wear a dress and be manly. And now Mike went on the Mum's Basement podcast and basically called Logan a rider for saying that you can wear a dress and be manly. And it's basically like, oh, he's defending Harry Styles for who knows what reason. So this came out and Logan posted a comment saying, this upsets me and I wish I hadn't seen this. Mike will change his character based on who he's with and what room he's in. That's the exact, that sentence right there is the exact vibes I get from Mike, because I've met multiple people like that where they will be really nice to your face and behave one way with you, and then when they're with other people and those people are talking badly about you, they won't be like, oh no, she's fine or he's fine, don't talk like that in front of me. They'll like go along with the conversation and then still go be friendly with you. Do you know what I mean? Like the kind of people that change opinions and personalities depending on who they're with, but like very drastically, and they'll accept someone talking behind their friend's back because they want to also be friendly with them. Do you know what I mean? Like they're partaking in talking behind someone's back just so they can be friendly with everyone instead of just standing up for one of their friends. That's the kind of vibes I get from Mike, where like he's friends with Logan and he has a career because of Logan, and he owes a lot to Logan. But if he's at a party with famous people and they start back talking Logan, he'll be like, yeah, Logan, yeah, he's a writer, yeah, just so they like him. Instead of just going, no, Logan's my friend. I don't think that's true. I think you have the wrong idea about my friend and I'm gonna stand here and defend my friend. He'll like go along with it because he wants to seem like a cool guy in LA. I don't know, that's the vibes I get. And that's the vibes in the first sentence. Everyone in the house knows this, and it's been an issue in the past, especially when we go out socially. I've caught Mike in lies before, and I try my hardest to help him shed that very ugly part of his personality, but evidently there's been no progress. He'll make things up to further his agenda. Everything he said here is simply not true. George can attest. I was even more fired up before and especially after the podcast when they couldn't see my point of view on the Harry Styles dress situation. What a shame. Hopefully he can take the mask off before the rest of his closest friends realize he's really only riding for the room of people he wants to impress. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about right here. You shouldn't really change yourself to fit into a crowd that wouldn't like you for you, right? So if you're entering a group of people and they don't like the real you, why would you want to change that just so they can appreciate you when you can just find people that appreciate the real you? I don't know. I feel like Mike tries to fit in and be the puzzle piece in every party when in reality he doesn't have to be friends with everyone. He's like a lot older than me as well. He's like in his 30s. I feel like at that point you kind of understand that concept. I feel like when we're all in high school and we're 15 years old, we want to fit in everywhere. We want to be the cool kid, the popular kid. And then you enter your like 20s and you're like, oh, I don't need to have 5,000 different friends. I can just have a group of friends that like me. I don't have to impress anyone else. He has never left that phase. He never left the 15-year-old popularity contest. He's just like, I need everyone to like me. That's the vibes I get. Anyway, Mike then responds, but the comment gets deleted by the original person that posted the post. That made sense. You said I will never admit when I'm wrong. Well, let me correct that behavior. I was wrong here. I made a tasteless comment. If I made it around Logan and our friends, that would be one thing, but I didn't. I love to run my mouth, say things sarcastically and mess around, and sometimes that bites me. I think there is a difference between messing around and being sarcastic and partaking in people trying to about your friend. I don't know. Anybody who knows anything knows I have done nothing but push tirelessly as a member of Team Maverick since the day I joined. Logan and I are handling this behind the scenes as we should, and I'm working on adjusting how and when I say certain things. Okay, so Logan Paul then posted a tweet that said, some thoughts. In 2017, I couldn't get out of my own way. I made mistake after mistake and was condemned, rightfully so, by the world. I remember how dark it felt back then. I embarrassed myself and my family, was blacklisted by every platform and brand. Close friends and peers turned their backs on me. It felt like the end of the road. 4 years later, I've come to realize that these blunders, followed by my willingness and enthusiasm to truly change for the better, were the most pivotal moments of my life. I'm grateful that I had the opportunity to learn, transform, and continue doing what I love. Our generation will be marked by its ability to hold others accountable, but reformation will not work when we as a society refuse to accept genuine change. For those who've had a moral lapse, trust the journey that is progression. And for those upholding accountability, when the time is right, allow yourselves to forgive. Otherwise, I believe our denial of individual growth rejects one of the most important values that make us human. And now people are wondering, right, is that regarding the Mike situation? Because maybe Mike's getting a lot of hate right now. Is that regarding David Dobrik, the way he's being cancelled right now? So people are wondering if it was also to do with KSI, who was recently basically ran off Twitter for using a slur against trans people and the R slur. People then obviously called him out for it, and then he made an apology tweet where he once again used the R slur. He was like, I said this because I thought it was okay, and then he deleted it and then apologized again. But at that point people are mad. So then he says, Twitter used to be an amazing place where you could connect with people in different communities and communicate without any problems. Now it's just full of pretentious people that are ready to cancel and destroy your legacy for breathing incorrectly. And on that note, I'm out. Now I understand why Felix left Twitter. Felix being PewDiePie. He hasn't had a Twitter account in years. Man was ahead of the curve. The more famous you are, the less funny you're allowed to be. And if you search up KSI on Twitter, the first two options that come out is R slur and trans. And so we're wondering, like, is the Logan Paul tweet to do with David, KSI, or Dream? Dream, big Minecraft streamer, was recently almost cancelled. Like, he's going through a period right now because a video came out of someone who sounds like Dream saying the N-word during a game. People are saying it's Dream, and he said he didn't say it and that it's not him. So I don't know who you believe, I don't know what you want to believe, but that's kind of the situation. So there's 4 different options for who Logan could be talking about. I don't know. Then we have Cole and Tana. So recently I spoke about the fact that Cole Carrigan is accusing Tana Mojo of getting his accounts hacked and having some like professional hacker to hack his Gmails, OnlyFans, Twitter, etc. So in a comment section under a Perez Hilton post, Perez says, I doubt Cole has the money to fight this lawsuit. So apparently Tana Mojo is suing Cole over this because it is defamation if it's not true. And Tana replies, if he wasn't directly lying about everything and slandering me entirely, there wouldn't have to be one. Cole says, yeah, she's a liar. Thank you for more proof that this was all you. All this literally started with your phony lawsuit that you're claiming is now a lie. Make it make sense. So I guess he's being sued. There are also tweets from Tana saying things like, to all the famous successful old guys who dated or got at me when I was 17, 18, 19 and 20, you're weird. I see that stuff now too with these young TikTok girls. Guys are weird. If there's a 10-year age gap and he just understands you, something is wrong with his brain. Very true. I feel like people get really upset about people talking about age gaps because, I don't know, their parents have an age gap or something. There's a big difference between a 30 and a 40-year-old starting to date and a 20 and 30-year-old starting to date. Or an 18 and 28-year-old starting to date. That is not a normal age gap because your brain isn't even fully developed yet at that point. If you're 30 and you're dating a 40-year-old, whatever, 40, 50, doesn't really matter. But if you're in your like early 20s and someone around the age of 30 wants to date you, then something is probably a little bit fishy with that. Someone says, I mean, it's weird even if they aren't famous and successful. Oh, 100%. It's just sad to see a lot of these men obviously continue to succeed and be able to do the same stuff to young girls. People definitely abuse their power. Maybe don't date older men if you're going to complain about it on Twitter 8 years later and act like you weren't in the wrong too. As if an 18-year-old has the capacity to understand the ramifications of dating someone that much older than her. Why are we blaming someone who's 18, barely an adult, for something a 30-year-old did? 30-year-old should understand better to not date an 18-year-old, not the other way around. And then she says, I feel like if I was 17 and 30-year-old people far more famous than me were hooking up with me, they're probably more so in the wrong. Thank you. And people are saying if this is to do with Jason Nash, who was obviously trying to get with Tana constantly while he was in his 30s and she was 18, 19. So this could be, you know, with everything coming out about David, that could be definitely a conversation she's having regarding Jason. David Dobrik, some updates. Finally, there's a winner of the $100,000 puzzle prize thing, and YouTube demonetized him. So far they're kind of, you know, putting him on a bit of a suspension with his AdSense, and they're thinking about, you know, when he'll have it back, if he'll have it back, that kind of a thing. And Jeff posted a second apology video. He took down his first one and he's put a new one up saying that he deleted his last video, that he was acting out of emotion and impulse. He now understands that by discrediting Kat, the author of the article, he was also discrediting Hannah, the victim. He said he wasn't filled in on the text from Hannah. So 3 months after they posted the vlog, Hannah had messaged Dom and said, hey, get the video taken down. I wasn't comfortable with what happened that night. Dom showed that message to David. David took down the video, but Jeff was never told about it. So he was in this video and he, you know, saw the video go up, but he never saw an issue with it because he wasn't filled in on the issue behind the scenes. He says that he didn't find out until the article dropped that this was an issue, and that's why he behaved the way he behaved when it happened, because he was like, I wasn't aware of any of this happening. He says that he's had brain trauma and he's been on many medications, so he isn't thinking the way he'd normally be thinking. He's kind of being a little bit irrational in some places. He said he had, you know, the accident with the eye. He said he had basically brain trauma and he's on a lot of painkillers, so the way he's behaving maybe isn't normal behavior. He says he can't read. He's like basically essentially lost all vision in one eye, so he can't read properly. So he had someone read the article to him, but they obviously skipped out on pieces. So he's like, I didn't read the article in full because I'm physically incapable of reading the article in full. And that he's taking some time off. He was very emotional during the video and he's donating money to Rain, which is, it helps with any kind of like the situation to do with Hannah. It kind of helps with people with that. So you can call in for free if you have ever been through a similar situation. You can call in for some advice, just someone to talk to, and he's donated money to them, which is really good. And I'm just wondering why Jeff's video here, where he realized he messed up, Jeff's video here is 1,000 times more sincere and seems more genuine than David's second video, when David is actually the one in the wrong and Jeff was just completely like unaware of anything that was happening. I don't know. Anyway, that's it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed it, give a thumbs up, comment down below anything you want to comment down below, and subscribe to post videos every time something happens. Say that bell, be notified when that's happening. Social media links, any of the links in the description. I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys.